Hello, BookTube. Well, it's the end of September. October is upon us. And enough of you uh, left comments and emailed me saying that you enjoyed what I did at the end of September. I did a September TBR BY, to be read by you, in which I listed 10 books coming out in September that I can recommend, that I recommend to you. Uh, and so I thought I'd do the same thing for October. I've got 10 titles here. I was going to show them to you, but I did a little experimenting ahead of time, and absolutely nothing that I can do causes this picture to be visible in this lighting on the phone. So sorry about that. I will leave the titles down below, the authors and all that. It's just a picture anyway. But the first one is history. It's The Framers' Coup by Michael Klarman. And it's a big, heavily detailed history of the drafting, debate, and ratification of the U.S. Constitution. And it's amazingly good. Never loses sight of the fact that it has a story to tell, but it is, I don't know, probably the best book on the subject that I've ever read, and I've read quite a few. If you're a fan of the American Revolution period, and I imagine that the musical Hamilton has made quite a few of them, you got to read this book. And then the next one is historical fiction. It's The Kid by Ron Hansen. It's a novel about Billy the Kid. I think I held up an ARC of it on this channel, and I read it, and it's just a humdinger of a book. It has odd poetic turns. It's full of action. It's full of wry humor. It's historical fiction done exactly right. This is what it looks like, but I don't think it's going to be visible to you. No, it's just no angle will work. That's kind of what you can kind of sort of tell what it looks like. The next one is an anthology. It's called Echoes of Sherlock Holmes by Laurie King. It's a follow-up to a Sherlock Holmes anthology they did a little while ago, and this one is even better because it's even stranger. It's not just you can sort of make it out there. It's not just a collection of Holmes pastiches. It's a collection of Holmes fantasies, fantasias on the character and the concept and the whole idea of murder mysteries in general, and by authors who are not the usual suspects that do this thing for a living. Sherlock Holmes fan will want to read this book. It's very strange. Some of the variations on the Holmes formula are so out of left field that they actually turn you back to thinking about that formula, which is always fun to do, especially if you love the Holmes stories as much as I do. And then the next one is starts out funny, but it turns out to be much more than that. It's Worst Period, President Period, Ever Period by Robert Strauss. Kind of sort of looks like that. And it starts off as a study of the absolutely wretched presidency of James Buchanan. But it does more than that. It branches out from there in very thought-provoking ways about what constitutes a bad president and what constitutes presidential reputations over time, how they change and why they change. Just fascinating as a study of these 40-something men in this peculiar office. It's stunning. Really, it's playful and very accessible, but stunning. And the next one is a YA novel. It's called Our Chemical Hearts by Krystal Sutherland. It's her debut. It's about a studious young boy who's thinking that he will never fall head over heels passionately in love. He'll like people, he'll love people, but he won't ever feel that going over a cliff kind of love. And then he does feel it for the least likely girl in his school, for the person that on the surface you would think would never inspire such a feeling. And that, as that synopsis, amply tells you, it's a very, very stereotypical plot. And Krystal Sutherland is not above manipulating you, not at all. So in some ways, it's a debut novel, so you have to make allowances. In some ways, it's a very insecure book. But I thought the passages that worked really well, and there were quite a few of them. I can recommend it if you like YA. And then the next one is an oldie but a goodie. It's Jane Austen's Mansfield Park, only this is the annotated edition, big, beautiful, heavily illustrated, annotated editions that the Belknap press of Harvard University Press have been putting out, and Mansfield Park is the final volume of their set of Jane Austen. And the books really are amazing. They really are. They will tell you everything you need to know about the background and the history of the composition of the novels, and also all the stuff you see in it. 21st century young readers especially coming to these books are going to encounter a blizzard of terms and concepts that they certainly won't have been taught in school, that you kind of sort of need to understand the books. And these annotated editions are fantastic for that. But there's also more to them than that. They're full of ponderings and great essays and, learned asides by the annotated and the whole support crew. So this is a Mansfield Park to have. It really is. It's also lovely. They're all beautiful. The next one is by Matthieu Ricard. It's called A Plea for the Animals, and I don't know where you'd find it in your bookstore, but it's if you're an animal lover, then you have to read it. It's a passionate and very articulate plea for scrapping of 7,000 years of the way that we think about non-human animals, and the implementation of what amounts to a broad scale across the spectrum new ethics that owes a lot to Animal Liberation by Peter Singer, but it has neat twists and turns as well. His plea is just that these are our fellow peoples on Earth, and that the vast amount of institutionalized cruelty and neglect that the world still has towards them is morally unacceptable. And of course, I agree with that. So it's not an easy book to read. He is blunt and a little pessimistic, so it's a deeper read than a lot of the books on this list, but well worth the time. And the next one is science fiction by the great Connie Willis. It's a book called Crosstalk. It's a big, fat science fiction novel that has as one of its premises, there's a procedure, a medical procedure that you can have done. It's very simple. It's practically outpatient, that will increase your empathetic connection to someone else. And it's therefore very popular with couples who want to feel that magic but don't always. Why work at it when you can simply have it done, when you can simply have a procedure? And the young couple at the heart of the book does have the procedure, but then there are complications. And the complications are thought-provoking and funny. This is Connie Willis's funniest book, and also far-ranging. It's just a humdinger of a book. It's a science fiction that will make you think and make you smile, and that you'll remember, because in addition to all the ideas and the speculation, Connie Willis always builds good characters. So that makes all the difference in the world. And the next one is a larger book. It's a picture book. It's by a great photographer named Paul Bannick, and it's called Owl. I wish I could show you the cover, but this is the brightest cover of them all, so there's no way you'll see it. It's a photographic study. He follows 4 species of owl throughout the year, throughout their terrain, and takes the most beautiful pictures in the world of them. So a bird fancier, or an owl fancier, or a nature fancier will want to look through this book. The segment on the great gray owl is the best in the book, and also just stunning. I mean, they're creepy, majestic birds anyway, but he really, really does. I mean, the whole book is great, but he knocks the great gray owl out of the park with that section. And then the next one is, it's enormous and fairly abstruse. It won't be for everybody on your gift-giving list. It's Karl Marx, Greatness and Illusion, by Gareth Stedman Jones. I showed it on this channel before. It's a great big biography of Karl Marx that I read and loved. It's Jones's effort is to divorce Marx from all of the centuries of myth and interpretation that have accrued to him over time, and just give us the man. who didn't know that his name would still be spoken so far in the future. They give us the man, his family, his woes, his happinesses, the people in his life, and it works spectacularly well. It's a really good life and times of the person, as opposed to the progenitor of a school of thought. So if you have a reader of serious biographies on your list, or you are one yourself, it's one of the best ones of the year, I think. And that's it. Those are 10 invisible books. I will leave all the information down below that I recommend for the coming month, for October. As far as I know, I will be reviewing 2 or 3 of these in 2 or 3 different places. So I'll try to remember to alert you when that happens. But I recommend them all. So there you have it, and I'll see you soon. BookTube. Thank you.